What's the overall picture for you, Piyush? And how are people at CII are responding to this? How are you looking at it, Piyush?
See, the way I look at it is this is the G20 budget. We have taken the G20 presidency. This is an accountable, responsible budget. Like we have some goals in G20, let us like going green. Now this budget includes that. Going organic in food, this budget includes that. And ensuring certain areas of technology. And I think overall just imagine when the world, most of the countries, their fiscal budgets are going haywire and their inflation is also going haywire. And India, a developing economy, is showing the, what you call responsible and accountable behavior, that we are having both the deficit is in control, fiscal deficit in control, inflation in control. And the FM proudly says that she will still further reduce it going further, the fiscal deficit. Yeah. And I think it's a very, very positive statement to make. And I think today this is a reverse preaching. People who were preaching us, now we are preaching them how to deal with the economy. And I think that is a good news for all of us today, that we are preaching the world what to do. And in my sector in particular, in food, I think the whole idea of taking millet as a crop and growing with it is a great idea. In fact, in CII, a lot of people have been saying we should have one crop-led growth. So I think one country, one crop, let us put it this way, if millet really grows, it will really change the ecosystem. I am seeing, for example, let us say there is a huge demand of, let us say, bajri, raga, but not only for the products, for the agriculture crop, for the value-added products also. For example, people to have bajri soup instead of minestrone soup, which people like us are doing. People have, let us say, organic basmati rice, and they can have organic biryani also, which Indian companies can sell in frozen. We can have organic juices, which companies like us are already doing, and in a major way. So I believe that this will change the whole way agriculture and food processing works.
Absolutely. Also, Ajay Singh joining us. He's the chairman of SpiceJet. Ajay, good afternoon. From your sector perspective, anything of interest and overall?
I think overall, of course, it's a very solid, stable, prudent and responsible budget. It's also a growth-oriented budget. I think we were all surprised to see that infra spending actually had been increased from 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakh crores.
Why were you surprised?
When governments earn money, we expected it to increase, but perhaps not by so much. As you know, this is an election year, and governments always have the temptation of being much more populist in such a year. But I think the government has shown that irrespective of elections, they are going to be responsible and prudent. This fiscal deficit reduction from 6.4 to 5.9%, I think that was very, very positive, and for the finance minister to say that the target was 4.5% for 25-26, I think that's a big positive as well. I think a lot of steps on the ease of doing business. As you've seen, she spoke about the 39,000 compliances that were done away with, the decriminalization of 3,000 odd provisions, the creation of the national registry, the use of Aadhaar as address proof, the use of PAN card for corporate identity. So I think a lot of really positive steps. As far as the MSMEs are concerned, I think this 2 lakh crore credit guarantee scheme will be a big positive for the MSMEs. But the ability of the MSMEs.
But on the thought of what you said there, Ajay,
up to 2 lakh crores without
yeah, but on what you said there, I find it fascinating. Yeah. That in a pre-election year, even you did not expect, and Ghanshyam, hear that, in a pre-election year, even corporates don't expect the government to invest in infrastructure. The natural tendency would have been to increase the subsidy bill or to increase some, free employment guarantee kind of schemes. But the fact that the government has bucked that trend is, I think, very remarkable.
I think this government always wins the dare against truth, especially from industry. But as far as civil aviation, for example, is concerned, I'm looking at notes for demands, and they have reduced the budget for civil aviation. I think that needs to be called out if we are talking to somebody from civil aviation. It has gone down to the levels, even below the levels of 2021, 22. So it is important that, when the industry speaks truth to the government, the Heidenberg report and such reports don't come out and crash the market and crash the beloved capitalists of this government, who are seen as the people who multiplied their wealth 8 times just because they had proximity. As far as the industry is concerned,
I think I'll tell you this, Ghanshyam. You remember the relationship between Subroto Roy Sahara and leaders of your party? That I think was not a good relationship.
We can speak about
no, I'm
1947,
just
but
saying, when Subroto Rai Sahara
2023,
was,
this is
no,
not
I'm being very
extension of
direct
Adani.
with
This is
you.
not-
What
this
was
is
that
not-
relationship?
You are not here to
What
defend
was
Adani.
that relationship?
We are
When he
discussing
lived in
budget.
Xanadu
You are
in
not in a
Lucknow,
position to
what
defend
was that
Adani. You are not in a
relationship?
position
Please
to
define it.
defend BJP's government's relationship with
What
Adani.
was the
Let's not
relationship
distract the
between
viewers.
Samajwadi Party and Sahara Group?
Let us not distract the viewers.
What was the relationship between the Samajwadi Party, your late leader Mulayam Singh Yadav and the Sahara Group? And Amar Singh and the Sahara Group?
BJP.
What was the relationship between the, please answer my question. Ghanshyam, don't look flummoxed.
Well, no relationship between
No
two political
relationship?
parties cost 5 lakh crores. 5
No.
lakh crores is not
So
a
what
small
kind of
amount,
relationship
Arnab.
was that?
And no government has ever
What
given
kind
a
of
large,
relationship was that?
In terms of loans.
Oh,
to
bhai,
LIC
answer my
and
question. No,
SBI
you're
to
going
one
on about
industry group,
corporates and you made a dig at
and this
Ajay
government
there.
has spent.
Oh, what is Ajay? I can answer that. Ajay can answer that. Maybe the government civil aviation budget is less because the government is believing in private-government partnership.
Well, I believe Ajay
No.
should have answered that, is all I'm saying.
Ajay is running a private airline, no?
Right, which is civil
SpiceJet
aviation.
is not owned by the
I'm
government,
just
right? So
saying
what's your
that
problem?
the government always wins the dare of truth against industry.
No, where is the
Because
dare of
industry
truth?
knows that they have,
Okay, Ajay, please respond.
tries to pay-
Ajay, he's
to-
saying
to
government should have
pay.
spent more on
When
civil aviation.
A dictatorial government.
I would say the
dictatorial
government should spend
gets
less on
upset.
civil aviation.
The civil aviation sector is now run by the private sector. The kind of progress that we've seen in the civil aviation sector in terms of, when this government took over, there were only 70 airports operational. Today, there are more than 150 airports which are operational. The kind of cities that have been connected in the last 7 years is absolutely amazing. So I think a lot of work is going into this, and we don't need government support.
He wants Sahara to come back with Sahara Airlines.
Airports, private airlines.
He's pushing for Sahara to come back with Sahara Airlines. That's the idea, right?
Defense of BJP and Adani Group. In my opinion, that's the defense of BJP
you
and
want
Adani
Sahara
Group.
to come back. You can say
defend them,
frankly,
but
we are
this is
missing
not
Sahara.
The debate on that.
We are missing Sahara. That's what you're
It is
saying,
your
right?
defense of Adani Group and BJP, but this is not the debate.
No,
on
but
that.
when the friend of Samajwadi Party came on my program the last time, named Subroto Rai Sahara, he was crying on my program, and then he went to jail.
Well, we have seen Mr. Modi also cry, so I don't think crying is such a bad thing.
Now I'm just having a laugh. Don't take me seriously on things like this. Kalikesh, on states, he tried to provoke you and said not enough is being done for states. I want your response on that. Ghanshyam says not enough being done on states. For states.
Everybody wants, special focus on their states. Of course, I would want it for Orissa, but I haven't read the details. I don't know what's gone into the various aspects of, of governance, especially on the social security areas. I think it's something we need to wait and see. What I do like is the fact that they are increasing the interest-free loans to the states, and they're doing it with riders where hopefully the states would increase their capital allocation and also spend on certain priority sectors. So I think there is something in the finance minister's speech. Now we have to really wait to see the details to see where it's coming out. Now one area of, just to go with Ghanshyam a little bit, one area where I think the government could have done a little bit more was to rationalize the capital gains taxes. I think there are just too many variances and too many different kind of instruments. Some mention was made by the finance minister. I think a lot more can be done in the future, maybe.
Absolutely, it can. I think I have to take a short break out there. While Ghanshyam goes and does his research on Sahara Group. And I shall be back in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Rajan Navani on the other side. Few minutes.